Good afternoon, everybody. It is Tuesday. Welcome to Tilson Live. I am your host, Dawn Dantzler, Vice President of Marketing and Customer Experience. Eric is not able to join us today because he is traveling, but thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm very excited about our guests this week. I have both Nick Yeats and Tom Homer, who are VPs of Construction here with Tilson Homes. So while everybody is coming in and joining us, please drop into the chat. Let us know where you're watching from, where you're building, what stage of the process you're in. And in the meantime, let's talk to Nick and Tom. So Nick, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? How long have you been a builder? How long have you been with Tilson? What's your favorite part of the job?
So I've been with Tilson for 15 years now. Been in the industry for about a little over 20 years. Built for Tilson back in the Houston market for the first 5 or 6 years of my time here, and moved up to North Texas market about 11 years ago, and I've been working on managing this place ever since.
Oh, awesome. How about you, Tom? How long have you been building, and how long have you been with Tilson?
So I've been in the industry since '97, and I've been with Tilson for 12 years. I actually started in the customer service department when I got here.
Oh, really?
Had a little experience in that. So, Gulf Coast region now has been my home since I've been here.
Okay, awesome. So what do you guys do as VPs of Construction? What does that mean?
Man, overall, it's trying to guide the ship for the construction team. You know, and what we do is very different from your production builders, and we kind of have to take a different mindset on how we approach things, and it's just trying to guide, and through we go. We're talking with subcontractors, vendors, suppliers, constantly having conversations over, you know, products that we need to add into, products we need to take out of our portfolio, etc.
Okay. So like super low stress, not a whole lot going on in that job.
100%.
Especially now.
Very low stress.
Awesome. So what's y'all's favorite part of your job? What do you like most?
You know, I enjoy the team that we built. Just the different personalities in the Gulf Coast team. It's funny. There's a difference in the North and the South regions, and as far as personalities go too, you can see the differences. But it's just the camaraderie we built, and just the team that we've been able to build over the years. Let's enjoy it. Enjoy the people.
Yeah, the people, 100%. You know, we've been most successful at taking young guys with and really growing them into what they've become. And specifically up here, I've got a couple that I've watched grow from, you know, ground level all the way to now they're the regional managers for me. So
the
awesome. Young guys.
All right. Well, I'm going to check in. Sorry. What?
I said the young guys are coming up.
The young guys?
Yeah,
that's awesome. All right. Well, we've got some people joining us, so I'm going to check in on them. We've got Jesse coming in. Howdy, Jesse. How's it going? We've got Ted, who is watching from Valley View. We've got Richard Stitchers, excited for this one, building in Grayson County, a Canyon C. Awesome. And we've got Wesley Bass, living in the Bass family, building a Canyon Elevation C in Greenville, and he got his brick. So yay, because everybody knows he's been waiting on his brick for a while. So we showed that. Yeah, like he said, brick was recently completed. So we're all really excited for him. Martina Skates, hello all. We have lumber on site, and framers should be here on Thursday. So excited. That's awesome. It's great news. We got Will coming in from Klondike. So Will, you got to tell me what's going on. What are you working on today? He's got like this beautiful homestead up there. He's got all his meat chickens and his meat turkeys and has some cattle. He's just got all kinds of exciting stuff going on in his home. We've got Ashley, hello, still in California, tuning in from our hot tub. Well, that's not fair. Have a lot in Republic Grand Ranch, not started yet, but my husband is sold on Tilson. All right, so we really like your husband, Ashley. That's awesome. We've got Nikki, hello, watching from Keller, building in Decatur, waiting on windows. Yep, that sounds about right. We've got Nora joining you from Flower Mound, Dallas, building in Gonzales Sea at the shores, Richland Chambers Lake. So Nick, that's your area. So just approved the plan with Cheyenne in the Melissa Model Center. Awesome. So you will get to know Nick pretty well. Tracy saying hi from Henley. Wes is saying his construction team, Mitchell and Christian, have been totally awesome and wants to thank them for all of their hard work. So there you go, guys. Everybody loves your guys. So you told their bosses.
Excellent.
We got Schwante. She is joining us from Sugar Land. Framing, including roof, is nearly done on our San Jacinto. That's awesome. We got Leslie tuning in from Spring. So obviously they're busy in that office today. We've got Will giving a shout out to Lance on the warranty team. He goes above and beyond. That's great to hear. We will pass that along to that team. Thank you for letting us know. We've got Kimberly saying howdy from San Antonio. And Will looks like he is working on cleanup from the storms the other night and getting pasture set up for the 3 cows. All right, that sounds fun. Better you than me. So that's fun. And then last one I see coming in, we've got Linda watching in Arlington, building a Whitney in Maypearl. She is in framing. So that is awesome. So guys, today, the reason I've got you here is you are going to talk to us a little bit about the construction process and practices. So everybody knows, building on your lot's a little bit different. So we just like to kind of check in with everybody and talk a little bit about our processes. And since I have 2 construction experts, we thought that would be the best topic to talk about and give you guys kind of set some expectations for what to expect when you get to that construction phase of the process. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, just wanted to give you a little bit of background on Tilson and why we are qualified to talk to you about this and to answer any of your questions. And guys, as we're talking, make sure that you drop your questions into the chat. We will answer every single one. So Tilson has been a build on your land builder in rural Texas for 90 years now. So we're celebrating our 90th anniversary. We were founded in 1932 and are a Texas-based family-owned and operated company for 4 generations now. We've built over 40,000 homes in the state of Texas, and on average, 10 families per week are moving into their Tilson home. So that's just a little bit of background on us, so you know that we are qualified to talk about this topic and what we're saying. Behind the scenes, before you get to this point in construction, you've gone through a lot of other processes, and we do have some other videos for you guys that I can have Kelsey drop into the chat for you if you want to go and look at kind of what's happening behind the scenes. But before you get to this construction point, you've gone through and you've done your floor plans. We've done a foundation plan and done your geotechnical investigation on your land. We've got all of the necessary permits, paid any kind of compliance cost. We've done all of our code review. We've done all the calculations in the Manual J to figure out what size HVAC system you need. We've made sure that we've met all those community requirements, and we're starting to get everything scheduled. And if you are in an area that would probably put you under Tom, if you're in one of those windstorm areas along the coast, we've made sure that we have met all of those requirements. So that's everything kind of that you're going through before you get to this construction phase that we're going to talk about. And then you've also done some prep work. So you need to go through and get your property ready for building. So that's doing everything from connecting the utilities, setting up your power, your water, your septic, getting all of those arrangements kind of right so we know what's going to happen. You've had a site evaluation or stakeout with a member of our team and figured out exactly where you want to put your home, and then identified anything else that you need to do to your property to get ready for construction. You will have established all-weather access to your property. So you've put in, if you needed a construction drive and a culvert, you've done all the necessary site clearing. And like I mentioned, we've come out and taken some soil samples to do that geotechnical investigation. So this is kind of everything that's happened to get you to this point. And you guys want to take it from here and talk a little bit about foundations?
Yes, ma'am. So the first step of what we're going to do is set the foundation forms, and this is where we can kind of vary across the state, depending on if you're in North Texas or Gulf Coast or Central Texas. The picture you see right here is set on a benched lot where we get the lot flat, so we just set forms that are roughly 12 inches high. Somewhere places in the Gulf Coast and Central Texas, you'll see us build to the out of level where you'll see raised form boards, and then we'll come back in and from the Gulf, depending on the location, but in the Gulf Coast we'll backfill with dirt. In Central Texas we do underpinning around the edge of the foundation to dress them up. But that's
Okay.
kind of the first step, and making sure it's the foundation of the home. So this is where it all starts. And that's
Okay.
And then, so the next part after forms are set is get the plumbing grounds in. If we are building to the out of level, we'll bring some dirt into the forms as well. This is where we get all the rough plumbing in for the drains, any water lines that need to be ran, looped through the slab. So if you have a kitchen sink on an island. And then after that, they come in and do what we call the makeup, which is what you see mainly in this picture here, where you start trenching all your interior and exterior beams for your foundation, which is what gives the support for the foundation. And they create these little pads all over the place, kind of like a honeycomb look. And everything gets covered in plastic, and then you have your post-tension cables come in, and that's where the beef of the foundation is through the post-tension foundation cables. There will be some rebar scattered in here and there, all depending on what the design of the home is, along with the foundation design. And I think Don mentioned it, but every foundation we do is specific to your exact lot. There are no generic details or no generic specs for how we design our foundation. It's all based on the soil that we're building it on and the out of level, if there is one. And once we get through the foundation makeup, this is where we'll come in. We have our engineer will come in and do an inspection on the home, make sure that the foundation, everything's where it needs to be, and cables are correct location, quantity, etc. Just make sure everything's good, because again, it's the foundation of the home, so we want to make sure it's perfect.
Yeah, this is the part we absolutely want to make sure we've got right.
Yeah, so it truly is the crucial part, and Tilson's always done a lot on the foundations. We don't want to build this beautiful house on top of something that we're not confident is going to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
So after we get through the inspection from the engineer, then we're going to schedule our concrete. And in most situations, you'll see a pump truck. There are a few sites we have that are readily available to get a concrete truck all the way around them, but in most cases, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, okay. So they won't always see that big chute that we're seeing in this picture.
Yeah, 90% of the houses will probably have a foundation or a concrete pump, but there will be some that, man, just nice flat land. It's wide open around it, and it gives us conditions to pour it out of the truck. But generally speaking, you're going to see the pump truck show up.
Okay.
And then after we get through pouring, this is where we finish everything. And then getting past this is so with a post-tension foundation, unlike a rebar foundation, it gets its full strength once the cables are tensioned. Generally speaking, that's around 10 days after the slab pour. But in today's market, with the supply chain shortages, etc., some of those time frames are going a little bit beyond that. But that's what you'll see. They come out with a hydraulic puller, and they stress those cables to around 30,000 psi, and that's what really gets the strength of the foundation. What makes a post-tension foundation what it is. And essentially, it's like a bridge. The main support is on your exterior beams, and just like a bridge spans and is only supported at your two ends, that's the closest comparison to what a post-tension foundation is.
Okay. That makes sense.
Next slide. And like I said, so this talks just a little bit about the inspections. Again, we have the engineer come out and do the pre-pour inspection where they're verifying everything that's inside that foundation. And then the final piece is when they do their post tension or the tensioning on the cables itself. You can see on that kind of bottom right picture. A little tough to see, but you can see that hydraulic arm on that cable right there. But our engineer is also present during that time to ensure that they're stressing to the proper load.
Okay. And like you said, usually it's 10 to 12 days, but if it's a little bit more, then that's not a huge deal. And as you can see in this picture, sometimes they might even, it's probably rarer nowadays, but sometimes we could actually get framing up even before those were tensioned. And that's fine as well, because that frame doesn't really weigh a lot. So you don't need to be.
Ideal world, we can start framing on it the day after we pour it, depending on what the outside temperatures are. But absolutely, we definitely can start without having that done.
Okay. And as soon as we have those framers, we're gonna go, folks, because we want to get your houses done as quickly as possible.
100%.
All right. So very exciting day for a lot of people. We actually just posted about this today. All of your materials will arrive on your job site somewhere around this foundation pour time.
Yes, and it varies right now depending on availability, but the next big thing you see is obviously the frame. And this is where, through our partnership with McCoy's, they'll come out. Depending on the lot, you may see the full frame package delivered at one time. In other cases where we have really limited space, you'll see just little partial pieces of the frame package delivered, and we'll kind of trickle those in as the framer makes progress, just to be able to have enough room on the site to move around and, store material at.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then through, all of our frames have the OSB wrap on them. And so this is what you'll see kind of as they start going up, and you'll start seeing, you'll have some guys working on the roof, some guys still working on little parts and pieces on the walls, and you'll kind of see different things going on at once, depending on the framing crew.
Okay, awesome.
And then we wrap all of our houses in a drain wrap. Just everything we do to keep water out of the home itself. And this goes on regardless, what type of exterior facade you have, whether you're all siding or masonry or stucco. And then in our regions where we're doing bat and blown insulation, we use a radiant barrier decking, which is the OSB plywood with basically a full wrap on one side of it, which keeps a lot of that heat out of the attic. If it's in an area where we're doing spray foam insulation, or if you chose to upgrade to spray foam, then we replace the radiant barrier OSB with just regular OSB.
Right, because we're going to spray that spray foam insulation right on the rafter, so there's no sense in having the expensive shiny OSB there for you.
Exactly. And then for our roof liners, we use a synthetic roof liner because it holds up considerably better than the old asphalt-based applications. And then we do things a little different on this avenue because we have our HVAC and plumbing come in before we put our shingles on. That way we can have our roofer come out to the house and have one person responsible for all of the roof penetrations, as opposed to some builders will put the roof on just as soon as the framer's done, and then depend on the plumber and the HVAC guy to do the flashings for them. If we're ever in a situation where we have to get the shingles put on because we've got some storms coming through or something like that we're trying to get ahead of, then we'll send the roofer back to verify all the flashings once the HVAC and plumbing's done.
Awesome. Yeah, Eric and I were actually answering. We had that question on one of our previous lives just a couple weeks ago. Somebody asked us why we were waiting to put the shingles on, and Nick is actually the person who taught me that we want the roofer to take care of any holes that we purposely put in the roof rather than the HVAC or the plumbing team taking care of those. So
that's right. That's why he's called a roofer and the plumber's called a plumber.
Right. You want everybody doing their job.
That's right.
So yeah, we were explaining some of that. So that's why I have that smart tip, because Nick told me.
Way to go, Nick.
Guess I'll say too, for those who enjoy Eric's commentary on these, we apologize for not being as good as he is during this little
You guys
piece
are
of it.
doing great. Doing great. But I tell you what, before we get into HVAC roughs, I do see that we have some more people checking in and some questions. And this one weirdo called Eric is actually in our comments. So let's check in and see what's going on. So we have Richard Stitcher. We're looking forward to working with Cheyenne. She's been great. Yes, Cheyenne's awesome. We've got Julie, who's building a live oak in Johnson County. They got our RTC date for October 10th. Can't wait. Oh, that's so exciting. We've got Jesse, went to Gillespie County this weekend to move some donkeys out to the property we will be building on. Saw a Tilson truck on the road, and it made us super excited. Yeah, that is exciting. I know your date's coming, Jesse. You guys are gonna start soon, so we're very excited for that. We got Patty coming in from League City.
Hey, all right. Gulf Coast.
We got Dante building and dripping, finally getting cabinets installed this week. Awesome.
Excellent.
Yeah, the Kent Moore team comes out on their own and does those cabinets, so very exciting. We've got John Tingley, happy Tilson Tuesday, currently in Kyle. We are building a rock wall in driftwood. Installation soon, I hope. Awesome. We got Brandon coming in from Elotes. Been waiting since November for construction to start. I'm sure it's coming. We can check for you though. If you want to send us a message, we can check to see when your date is. We've got someone coming in from YouTube, watching from the Mojave Desert of California, building a Travis A in Fort Bend County. So again, Tom's. Love Tilson Tuesday. Awesome. Thanks for joining us. And then we have this stranger called Eric. Y'all are rock stars. Thanks for sharing your wisdom and experience with all of our team, prospective and current customers. Oh, and you're an absolute boss, Dawn. Okay. We've got Girana foundation was poured last Tuesday, waiting for the next step. So Girana, like we were talking about, the next step's going to be that framing for you. So hopefully that gets started soon, but never hesitate to reach out to your builder. He can let you know what's going on and what the expected schedule is.
Absolutely.
We've got Ann coming in from Pearland. We're building a Granbury E in Fayette County. Ooh, that's a good plan. I like that one. It's going to be fun. Ashley, my husband already loves y'all, but for me and Republic Grand Ranch, there are multiple different builders presented to us. What sets Tilson apart from the others? Why Tilson? So I'm going to say, talk to your builders very carefully about their financing and how they do that, unless you're paying cash. If you're paying cash, you can ignore everything that I'm about to say, but I would strongly encourage you, if you haven't already, to look at Tilson's Easy Buy program. Because unlike every other builder who can build in Republic Grand Ranch, we are not going to require you to have a construction loan. So there's going to be no interest accruing and no payments being made during construction on your home. You're going to pay, we only get paid at the end. So from start to finish, you're paying us $3,000 for your deposit to get started and get going. And in this unpredictable time when construction timeframes are unknown, it's, should give you a little bit of extra comfort to know that you don't also have interest accruing while you experience all of these delays. That's on Tilson. So I would say that that's the number one advantage that we have. I would also say the quality of our homes are amazing. So really just kind of sit down and talk to everybody. Guys, do you have anything you'd like to add of why Tilson is better than the other people in Republic Grand Ranch?
I've been doing it for 90 years. It's a big part of it. Mm-hmm. Been in business a while, so we obviously are very experienced at what we do.
Yeah,
Nick,
absolutely.
Anything else to add?
Well, Tom and I both come from production builder backgrounds, and the one thing that always set us apart for me is the fact that we're truly going to stand behind what we do. We're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. That I can guarantee you. There's going to be mistakes made through the process, but the one thing that from the top down here, we're going to stand behind it. If we make a mistake, we're going to own it, we're going to address it, and we're going to make it right. I mean, that's and coming from the production background, it's just not, it's a different atmosphere with them.
And I can attest to that as well, running the service department 12 years ago. So that is true.
Yep. Absolutely. So Ashley, there's a lot of things that set us apart, and the team, either in our Spring location or our Texas Grand Ranch location, would be happy to talk to you some more. about it. We've got Julie. She is asking, how far in advance of the RTC date do they put in the foundation? Or is the RTC date the date the foundation gets put in? Once construction starts, how long till possible completion?
So the RTC date is when we actually release the file to the construction team. And so at that point in time, the builder is going to start sending out our work orders and plans to the foundation contractors that he uses in the area. And at that point in time, it varies depending on weather and kind of how his contractor is at that point from when they actually start with setting the form boards. And then right now on the completion, our average time frame right now from the RTC date itself, not from the date they set forms, but from the RTC date, our average time frame is around 10.5 months.
Okay. All right. And then Regina is asking, so how long does the process usually take from start to finish? So it depends upon your definition of start. So I'll start at our definition of start, which is when you sign an agreement with us. Right now, we're telling people to expect about 14 to 18 months because that includes all the time up front, what I was talking about behind the scenes of getting your plans ready, getting approvals, getting your property ready. Plus, there is going to be a little bit of a pause once you've got everything ready and you are officially what we call an RTE, which is released to estimating. So everything's approved. We have all of any necessary permits, any approvals, that kind of stuff. You'll be assigned a slot at that time, and that's when you are going to be RTC'd, which was what Nick was talking about, to release to construction. So that's telling you the week that your file is going to be handed to the builder. And then that's when that build time that Nick was talking about starts. So all in, we're saying about 14 to 18 months. All right. And then we have Ann checking in from Frisco, hoping to build in Ridgeland Park at Navarro County, trying to decide on a plan. All right. Well, hit the website, hit the videos, and you can find all of the good ones. And Kyle's saying, does it matter if the Tyvek is adhered to the OSB with staples or roofing nails?
It does. We don't use staples or roofing nails on the Tyvek. There are cap nails with little plastic caps that go over the nails to help keep out the moisture.
Okay, so we want to make sure we're covering that hole that we created.
Yep.
And staples can be used. We just it's the cap piece that's the critical part. So we need to just contact the builder and discuss what the options are there. And there is a limitation from Tyvek. You can use some staples to get it temporarily held up. So it's not a complete black and white answer on that. But to an extent, yes, it's okay to be used. But the cap is the main part we're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And Ashley's saying, sorry for putting you on the spot, Dawn. I appreciate all your answers. Mistakes will be made, but will be owned and made right. Thanks, Ashley. And don't worry about it. Don't be afraid to ask us the questions. We'll answer them, and if we don't know, we'll find out for you. But that's my job. I'm the head of marketing, so I should know how to answer that question. So I deserve to be put on the spot with that one. Let's see. Richard Stitcher, Linda, and Mark here. The easy plan is the way we went. We have a current home in Frisco and hope it's the right choice for us. Tilson's the only ones we found with this plan, so it makes it so nice. So yes, we are the only builder, honestly, that I know of that has kind of that easy buy program that we have for financing. That's why when Ashley asked me what sets us apart, like that I know no one else that does that actually doesn't require you to have a construction loan and isn't taking payments from a bank to fund the homes. We're funding construction on our own, so that really sets us apart and saves everybody a lot of worry during the process. We've got Vidana. Hey, y'all. Now in Corsicana from Nevada, waiting to start our Gonzales at the shores. Awesome. We've got Nora, who is letting Vidana know that they're going to be neighbors. So yay, y'all get together, plan the barbecue, invite us. We'll all come. It'll be fun.
Yeah, Navarro County and the lake out there has become very, very popular.
Yes, it is. We got a lot of homes going up there, but yeah, very, very busy area. Jessica's asking what happens if you're at the end of your process and your current home hasn't sold yet and has full equity. Of course, this is in regards to the Easy Buy program. So what's going to happen, Jessica, is we're going to need to help you get that house sold as quickly as possible. So Our actual closing team would be working with you. If you do have a house that needs to be sold in order to close, we would have arranged with you ahead of time to get that home ready and on the market. We would tell you when to do that based on your expected completion date, and we'll do everything to get that home sold. If the worst happens and you're not ready, you haven't sold that house, I believe we work something out where we start charging you kind of interest on that house until you can get closed and can pay for it from us. But we work it out. It's happened in the past, and it's something that we can work out. But that if you need more information on that, I can get you a better answer if you send us a message on that. Is that correct, guys? Do you know?
Yeah, that's the correct way. There's lots of variables there, but ultimately we have a process called a modification agreement that will allow you to move into the home and pay interest until we can actually go to closing.
Yeah. So essentially, you're paying us kind of a rent until you move into until you sold off your other home. So we can make it work. We've got Amy. I can tell you that once the foundation is poured, the framing goes up super quick. Our next step is roof, deck, and wrapping. Awesome. Glad to hear it. We got Faith, one of our new home specialist OSCs. Happy to share what separates us from other builders. So Ashley, Faith is saying send her a message through the website, and she'll give you her opinion on Tilson versus other builders. And then let's see, we've got Anne. Where in the process does septic fall?
If it's up to us, we'd like to get it in just about as soon as the foundation's poured. Unfortunately, a lot of septic contractors want to wait until after the exterior veneer is finished. So if it's an all siding house, it could be done as quick as the framing's complete, because our framing crew will take it all the way through cornice. But if it's masonry, brick, or stone, a lot of the septic companies will request that that is completed. But start talking to them as soon as we can, keep in communication with the builder, because the earlier the better, specifically in your wet months, where it can become challenging on getting the septic installed.
Yeah, you'll occasionally get power as well. Sometimes they'll come out and say they want power as well, but it's rare, but they will.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the actual installation. And just in case you're asking, when we design that system and plan it all out, that's all done up front in the prep work, because in most places we have to have that permit for the septic system before we can even begin. So we'll plan it out, and then we deal with the install. Ashley is saying, thank you for all you do. We are in California, and you are the only builder taking the time to put into social media presence and lay all the info on a silver platter. Yep, that transparency, that's what sets us apart too, Ashley. So yeah, no one else is going to do this. They're going to make you, as Eric and I talk about, they're going to have it gate. All this type of content is gated from them. So they're going to make you give your email address and meet them on a Tuesday night and do all that. We're the only one that's kind of out here telling you exactly how it is for the world, because we believe that an educated buyer is a happy buyer. So we want you to know exactly what's going on. Jesse is asking a rough estimate, only because we are eager beavers. How long is build time in Gillespie County? I believe we are set to break ground in July.
So I don't have the information specific to the county, but as a company, our average construction time right now is about 10.5 months.
Okay. All right. So I would plan maybe a little bit longer than that, Jesse and Gillespie, because it is a very popular area. But yeah, once you get going, and kind of like you and I've talked about, the reason for that July date is so we can get things arranged a little bit more, so you shouldn't see as many stops, because we know you and your mama are anxious to get in your houses out there. So super exciting. Let's see. Vidana and Nora are planning their barbecue. I told you got to invite us. So get together and invite us. We've got Adrian building a cypress in Pipe Creek, waiting for the foundation forms. All right, awesome. And then we have someone from YouTube asking, can you get materials from any source, or does it come from your sources, like a log type kit? No, we're not going to do a log cabin. We're going to use, you kind of take a look at our plans on our website. You can see the style of homes that we build. We have learned one thing for sure in 90 years, that if we do something that we don't usually do, that we're not comfortable with, it generally doesn't turn out well for us or for you. So we are not a log cabin builder. We're traditional stick built homes. And our materials really on that, they need to come from our suppliers, just so that we don't want you to get into a situation with some outside supplier where they're like, the builder messed it up and the supplier messed it up. We don't want you to be the the middleman in that situation. So we're going to contract with our suppliers directly. There's a few things we'll allow you to order and do on your own for your home, but it's really just appliances and flooring at this point that you can do on your own. Otherwise, you need to be using our suppliers. Let us get what you need.
And the relationships we have with our vendors, we're seeing the supply chain issues like everybody else right now. We have some pretty long-term relationships with some of our vendors. And even though we're not getting them as quick as we used to, from other stories I'm hearing from other people in the industry, we're getting things quicker than most companies because we've had some long-term relationships with our vendors. And that plays a lot in today's market.
Yes, long-term relationships are very important. Barbara is asking, does Tilson give a 60-day window? I think this probably is in reference to closing. So are we going to tell her 60 days ahead of when we think we're going to close? And Barbara, if I'm not right, drop it in the comments and let me know what you actually mean by that question.
A 60-day window is that, I guess that's what she's asking. Do we are 60 days out for a closing? We are not giving 60-day window closings. No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very difficult to do, especially with supply chains, power, could be septic. So it's very difficult to give a 60-day window.
Okay. And Jessica's asking, this one says Limpasses, but she's saying Burnett completion time is around 24 months. Yes, sorry, Jessica, I did misspeak on that. Yeah, and a lot Burnett, probably Gillespie at this point, Williamson, all of those super hot hill country counties, and also the counties immediately outside of Austin, which is a very popular area. You are probably looking at more like 24 months from when you sign your contract to moving in, just because of how much activity we're seeing in that area across all builders, just really kind of bogging down that subcontractor supply, as well as the governments being able to approve things in a timely manner with all the business that's coming in. Those are the biggest counties in the country right now for building activity. So it does take longer in those areas. And then Jesse's sharing that she's moving down to Gillespie this summer. So excited to be able to watch the process in person versus from afar. All right. Well, we will be looking for updates from you guys. I know it's going to be fun out there. They've got 2 houses, guys, going on the same property. So a mother and her daughter and her family, and then the mom is also building just a little bit away from them, kind of in the same area. So we're super excited for them. That is the last question I see at the moment. So do we want to go and talk about rough mechanicals?
All right. So after we get the framing complete and dried in, which is with the synthetic roof liner, we'll move into your mechanicals. Historically speaking, we've had a pretty regimented process for which comes first, second, and third. But again, in today's market, whatever contractor is ready to get in that house first, we're going to let them get in the house first, and we're going to work through and kind of deviate where all possible right now to keep progress on the house, as opposed to just sitting stagnant in the water waiting for one contractor. So there will be some things you'll see that kind of look to be maybe out of order, or maybe the contractor comes in and gets started but is not able to complete what he does. We're going to go ahead and send that next contractor in again, just to kind of keep the ball moving, as opposed to waiting for that one part or piece to come in. We're going to keep going as much as we can.
Okay.
So your plumbing. So everything we do here is we do the open door piping throughout the homes. And if you're not familiar with it, the beauty of it, it's a PEX style piping. It can freeze solid for months on end and will not bust. So you don't have to worry about that busting in a wall from a freeze. It can freeze on you, and you won't have water, but again, it's not gonna bust on you. And generally speaking, it's rare that you'll ever have anything inside a home freeze. But if you go through something like we did through the freeze of last year, February of last year, and you lose power and get your lines up in your attic, even though if it's a blown insulation house, they're going to be covered in blown insulation. at some point in time, if the power stays out long enough and temperatures get like they are, you will see some freezing pipes. But again, the beauty of it is as soon as they thaw out, everything keeps running just like normal, and we're not having to do any water cleanups or sheetrock damage or anything like that. So
yeah, no nasty surprises when everything thaws out and you learn that there's a crack in your pipe or something like that, because the PEX is very expandable.
Yep.
All right, electrical.
For the electrical, everything's moved to low voltage now. So we do 14 gauge wiring throughout the house, minus your home runs. There are some cities and different municipalities that require 12 gauge wiring still. But this is generally speaking, this would be the last mechanical to come in. But again, with everything the way it is today, you may see it be the first thing to go in. So don't be concerned over anything with that. We're going to get those group of guys in there in an order of where they can become available.
Right.
And the one thing we do to try to make this better for all the mechanical guys, we're not going to send, an HVAC guy and a plumber to try to work together. They have too many materials in the house. So you'll see one trade go in there at one point in time.
Okay.
Some of the punch out work that they might need to do, you might see a couple of them in there together, but on the initial rough end, we're going to see one contractor at a time. That way you don't have anybody fighting on top of each other.
All right. And the insulation.
And so between the mechanicals getting finished and the insulation, we do have a third-party inspector that comes out. Irregardless if you're way out in the countryside or if you're close to a city, every house we do has a third-party inspection on it. And that third-party inspector is going to come in. They're going to inspect the framing of the house, and they're going to inspect all the mechanicals. And so we'll do that right after the mechanical rough is done. We'll have the framer go back in, make any punch-out items that he might have. And then once we get the okay to proceed from the frame mechanical inspection, then we move into our insulation. And again, if you're in our Climate Zone 2, which is kind of the Gulf Coast region and kind of the half of Central Texas.
It does this like funky line thing in the middle. The government drew that barrier, so it's a little funky. If you have any questions, ask us. We can tell you. Yeah.
But we do the bad insulation in the walls, your R15 in the walls, and R38 blown in your attic. The blown insulation is kind of looks like it snowed inside of your attic, and everything that was visible becomes covered in it. And then if you're in Climate Zone 3, which is kind of the western part of Central Texas and the North Texas market, to meet the stringent requirements for our air changes, we do an open cell spray foam insulation, where we do your exterior walls and your roof decking. And one of the benefits of that is it turns your attic into a semi-conditioned space, where we actually have a supply duct that pumps conditioned air inside the attic, so that when you're going up there and storing your Christmas decorations, etc., it's not 120 degrees up there. It's only going to be roughly 10 to 15 degrees warmer or cooler than what it is inside your home. So it makes
make sure you're only storing light stuff, guys. Remember, we talked about this. That your attic's not decked for storage, so just obey those rules.
Bowling balls, or
if you struggle to carry it up the stairs, it shouldn't live in your attic. That's kind of my rule of thumb for that.
There you go.
All right. And let's see. So after we've done all of that, it's time to put up some sheetrock.
It is time for sheetrock. Now the home is starting to take shape. So we've stocked the home with drywall. Nick has got us past our inspections, so we are ready to hang drywall. Now you can start seeing rooms, the shapes of rooms, the columns. That it actually starts to really feel like a home now. So this is actually a pretty exciting part of the home. Obviously, this is where it's really starting to get good.
All right.
Exterior finishes. So after our inspections, this is including the mechanical inspection that Nick spoke about and the insulation inspection, we are able to finish the exterior of the home, minus any hardy, but we're talking brick or stone or stucco. We want to make sure everything is sealed properly, and for air penetration in the home and moisture throughout the exterior of the home. We want to make sure the inspections have passed. Then we can start doing our stone and our brick on the home.
Okay.
And stucco.
Oops. And then we can put in all your pretty stuff.
This is where a lot of stuff happens. This is where it's you're going down the hill here, because you're putting all the fit and finish products in the home, from cabinets, countertops, tile, flooring, all the fixtures that go in the home. This is where it's obviously exciting, but this is where it really starts getting exciting. You can see obviously what you've picked out and how well everybody did picking things out, how pretty it looks. It really takes shape here. We're painting the walls. This is a lot happens in this interior finishes part, obviously, but this is where it gets good.
Yeah. And this is also the point at which we can start having more than one person in the house at the same time. So more than one contractor. So we can start sometimes to move a little bit quicker here.
It does. And it also, we take into consideration as well with during this part as well, you potentially could see some things missing. It could be back ordered. Mm-hmm. Anything from back ordered shelving, could be some light fixtures back ordered. It all depends on what it is, but don't be alarmed. We're on the case, but there is potential for things to be short during the different phases of the interior finishes.
And most of the things that come in at this point in time too, there's kind of a first initial trip, and then there's a kind of a touch up at the end. So your paint, your cabinets, your trim, the initial install of them is not necessarily the final product.
Right.
And after we get the bulk of all the people in and out of the home, then we'll send those select few contractors back in to do your fine details and touch ups.
Right. The part of the process. Absolutely.
Yeah. Wonderful. All right. And then final inspections.
So we do a final code inspection once the home is complete, and we also do an insulation inspection, or final energy inspection, where they'll check for leakage of the home. So we want to make sure we're building a tight home, energy efficient home. Also code inspection to check various code items as well. So both inspections happen when the home is complete. By a third-party inspector as well. Same inspection company that typically does the frame and the insulation inspection prior to sheetrock are the same folks that come back and do the final inspection.
Okay.
Finished home. So once we have completed the home, we'll do an introduction on the home. So you'll come back and we'll introduce the home to you. We'll walk through each room, exterior and interior, show you how things work, how things operate, what things are. We go into a detailed intro of the home. It honestly is an introduction of your home to introduce you to different materials and items and what things are on the home. By this time, the closing is scheduled. Move in and occupancy once the home is complete. Once we closed, move in, other than circumstances Nick talked about earlier, or you guys talked about earlier. And then we'll go over the warranty, our warranty procedures as well during the introduction of the home. And then once your home is closed, we turn that over to the warranty department. We don't want to come back to your home for obvious reasons. We hope everything is going well, but everything's working. Everything has been checked, but it's not being used. Once you start using things, you just don't know. Just like you drive a car off the lot, you just don't know how things operate. But that's why we have the warranty on the home.
Mm-hmm. And the good thing, one of the things that sets Tilson apart is our warranty, that we do have an in-house warranty department. So for most things, unless it's something specialized like your HVAC where obviously we want to send an HVAC technician out, you are going to have a Tilson employee arriving in a Tilson truck to make that repair. It is actually someone who works for Tilson and is accountable to us. So that's another thing that's we're not calling a third party to go fulfill our warranties. We are taking care of those ourselves.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that we're just to get out there, I think Eric's talked about it, but we are having, due to some back orders, there are some things that we may have to, if you're comfortable with closing on the home, have y'all go to closing while we're waiting for, a cabinet door to be made, or maybe a light fixture that was a special order that we haven't got in. There's going to be a few things like that. Again, there's going to be conversations between yourself and the builder about what that looks like and making sure everybody's comfortable with it. But due to the supply chain issues, it is something we're having to be more flexible on. As in the past, we did not want to close any home with any pending item.
Right.
Today, we're having to kind of reevaluate and look at it on a case-by-case scenario. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know that everybody is anxious to move into their new home as soon as possible, and we want to make sure that option is available for them if it's something that doesn't interfere with the actual function of the home. Like we've talked in the past, like we're not going to let you move in without floors. We're not going to let you move in, probably going to make you have a bathtub. Those big items you're going to have in your home. But if it's a little thing, like Nick was saying, like the globe for your light fixture, like we'll close without that. As long as you're comfortable with that. All right, so a few things to keep in mind. I always tell everybody, in construction, pack your patience, and we forgot to put that on here, so I'm just going to say it on behalf of these lovely gentlemen. Make sure it's a process. This is the most expensive item you're probably going to buy in your life, and it's also the only time in your life where you're going to watch it being made before you. So you are watching every step of the process, and our homes are being built by human beings who do make mistakes. So don't get super concerned about something unless your builder says it's done. Every work along the way that a subcontractor is doing, your builder is also going to look at that and will be catching those mistakes and getting them fixed along the way. So just know there will be mistakes, and we are going to make it right. But if you guys want to talk about what I actually did put on the slide, I just wanted to put that out there on y'all's behalf.
Well, and just keep the communication with the builder. That's the best thing I can tell any homeowner is, regardless of how simple or insignificant you think it might be, don't hesitate to ask the question. Don't assume anything. Eric likes to say, in the absence of a story, you'll create your own. And so I used to tell all my homeowners, if it was 2:00 in the morning, please don't call me, but shoot me an email. It's not going to bother me, and I'll have it that next business day. But ask questions. There are a lot of things that we do see, and we kind of take it for granted because we do it day in and day out. But there may be something that we know needs to be addressed, but we know it's going to be addressed later in the process because that contractor comes back for a second round. But so I can't just ask questions as often as you can, and no matter how simple of a question is, don't hesitate to ask it. And again, if you wake up in the middle of the night and if you don't write it down, like I said, shoot an email, get it off your chest, just talk about it. And that's the best thing in today's market is just communication.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with Nick, and I tell homeowners as well, we do this together. Communicate together and build it together. It's a very smooth and fun process. Absolutely.
Yep. Absolutely. And there are going to be points at which you feel like there's nothing happening. There are natural breaks in construction where we're waiting for inspections to happen, like we've mentioned. So when we're waiting on an inspector, we absolutely can't do any other work until they tell us that everything's good and clear. And then we also do schedule in some planned breaks. Nick was mentioning earlier that we don't want the electrical and the HVAC and the plumber all there at the same time when they're doing those initial rough ends. So we need to kind of schedule a break in between them so that in case one of them goes a little bit longer, we don't have an electrician on top of the plumber. So you will see natural pauses like that. And then like we mention every week with supply chain issues and labor issues, there are some times where beyond our control, the work will stop. So just kind of be a little prepared for that and know that we're doing the best we can to get it done for you as quickly as possible. Because like I mentioned earlier, we don't get paid until your home is done. So it is in our best interest. We're not delaying anything on purpose. Like it's in our best interest to get everything going. And then the last one is, you're welcome to come and visit your home at any time. A lot of our customers actually live on site and see what's going on every day. But yeah, come on out, look, ask questions, talk to your builder, but just kind of enjoy the process. All right. And that is.
I was going to say, for the ones who do live on site, it'll be the definition of kind of watching the grass grow. You're gonna see every little thing. You're gonna know when people show up and don't show up before the builder does in a lot of cases.
Right.
And we openly accept the communication of letting us know. But it is like Don said, it's the only thing that you can go by and actually watch it be built from nothing.
Other than your Subway sandwich.
Yeah, and it's a little bit more complicated than your Subway sandwich. So.
Absolutely.
I've used that analogy, Tom. I'm like, other than your Subway sandwich, which is we can all agree.
I use it all the time. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we do have a couple questions, so let me pull those up. We've got Kyle asking, with the PEX style piping, normally we see crimping at joints. Every contractor is different. Is it okay to use shark bites at joints?
So what we use is not a shark bite joint. It's a Uponor, in which it's really the sole reason why we use Uponor, and it's an expansion. The tool expands the joint or the fitting, and then it sucks back down onto what you're connecting it to. And that the PEX piping has a memory to it where it's constantly trying to get back to its original size. So unlike a crimp joint where it's more of a mechanical piece where if they don't crimp it just right, you have a higher potential for a leak there. And with the Uponor piping, with the testing that has been done with it and our own personal success with it, that's really the main reason why we use the Uponor brand PEX, is because of the type of joints that we have.
I'm going to remember that. We don't use that Uponor word usually, so that's my new fun word for the future. So what is a shark bite joint for those of us that don't know? What is that?
It's for me, it's a relatively new thing. I've used it at my personal house for some things at my barn. It's very simple. It's a slip joint. I mean, it's I don't know how to describe it. I really don't even know how it works, but it's very, very easy to use.
Okay.
But we don't.
So maybe more for like the DIY or like repair.
Depot, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. We like McCoy's though, Tom. We don't Home Depot.
Yeah, it's really good for running water line to a horse trough.
All right. Tracy is asking if they get a copy of the third-party inspections.
We don't typically give them out, but upon request.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So it sounds like your builder can get that for you if you'd like it. Jessica's asking, why in Burnett County can you only have one type of fireplace due to the spray foam in the house? So it's not one type of fireplace. It is one type of wood burning fireplace. And the reason is with a home that uses spray foam, it is so tight that it's very hard to get oxygen in. So if you actually want a wood burning fireplace, we have to install a special type of wood burning fireplace that brings in its own oxygen. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to actually keep a fire going. Like the way if we had put in any other type of wood burning fireplace, you'd have to actually open a window to make your fire burn, which just is silly. So that's why if you want a wood burning fireplace, there's only one option that we've seen that works, that actually our customers are happy with and get a good fire going in a spray foamed house. Now, if you wanted a gas fireplace or an electric fireplace, you've got many more options with that, but it's just on that wood burning one that we only have the one option because of the spray foam. It's just too tight for any other type to work.
It's a really good wood burning fireplace as well. It will truly put out a lot of heat.
All right, we've got David saying my build times seem to have been pushed back. I was told 12 to 14 months, and 5 months later, they said I won't be sent out for construction until October. Is this normal? So we don't like to use the word normal right now because, just to be quite honest, David, and I'm very sorry that this is what you're experiencing. Nothing is normal right now. So back when you purchased, we did honestly believe that it was going to be 12 to 14 months, but we couldn't anticipate just the impact of everything that happened. You know, we've spoken a little bit about the Texas freeze that set everything back. You know, no matter how you feel about COVID, that definitely set a lot of things back. And then we just have unprecedented demand for new construction. So I'm really sorry that that's what you are experiencing. We genuinely did feel like that was our time frame at the time, but we're learning now that it's taking longer. So we're trying to prepare everybody for that. And like you mentioned, we have instituted now kind of a more scheduled release. We used to just release homes to construction when they were ready, but what we're finding is the vendors weren't ready for them. So we're giving everybody assigned slots now so that we can do kind of the upfront work to make sure that we're going to have the teams available to work on your house. So if you've been told October, that means that you probably have been assigned a date. Send us a message. We can double check that for you or reach out to your sales consultant. That was your file is handed to the builder, and that's when they'll start going. So I am sorry that you're experiencing that, but that's just kind of where we are right now, and we're doing the best that we can to kind of control that. We have Wes asking, how long does closing take if it's a cash buy?
Actually,
Not very.
at the house, it's pretty. once the home is
Pretty
finished, yeah, it's a quick process. It's a hand the builder the check and give you the keys, and you are closed.
Yes. Yep. Because we don't have to do anything with appraisers or any of that. So we are good to go. So it's a very quick process. We have Linda saying, so excited for the process. We've been pleased with communication thus far. They have their design center appointment next week. Awesome. That's a fun one where you get to pick out all your colors. And then we have Angel saying, we have a pre-construction meeting next week and we cannot wait. Awesome. That'll be great because you'll get to meet your builder and kind of talk everything, and then everything will get kicked off. And that is all the questions that I see, guys. So if you have any, start typing really quickly. And I'll try to get you in before we officially sign off. But Nick and Tom, thank you so much for doing this, stepping in and kind of helping me out this week and not leaving me alone, because it would have been a very boring show without you guys. So thank you so much. Anything else that you guys want to say, share with everybody of what to expect going into construction, or give a shout out to any of your guys?
Well, we appreciate everybody working through it with us. And as Don said, there's nothing normal any longer, and we're kind of adapting to this on a week by week, month by month basis. Behind the scenes, we're doing everything we possibly can, from hiring additional contractors to additional builders, talking to our vendor suppliers, verifying with outside vendors and suppliers that there's nothing out there we can get quicker than what we are currently through with our current vendors. And we're truly trying to do everything we can. And I think through this, we're trying to be as transparent as we possibly can to get through this process. And hopefully sooner than later, we will see some kind of a new normal.
Yes. Hopefully we can get everything back to normal. All right. Well, thank you again, guys. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you need to find us, we are everywhere on the internet. We have a wonderful website that's open 24/7. You can send in any comment forms there, and those will go to our new home specialist team. We have 12 design centers throughout the state that are open 7 days a week. You can go and see them there. You can talk to us here on Facebook, talk to us on YouTube, talk to us on Instagram. It's really, honestly, pretty hard not to find us. So just if you have questions, reach out. And thank you for watching, and we hope to soon make you part of the Tilson family. Bye, everybody.
Thank you all.